used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.
Hello, welcome back once again to the Necro Zoo. I am Bones. And in this one, let's go ahead and add one more figure to my McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. Now today we will take a look at Black Lightning from Final Crisis. Now I did find this guy today at Walmart. Now there was two of them, so I did go ahead and pick up both. One to check out and one to add to my unopened mint in box collection. Now of course Black Lightning has a long history, I think, since the 70s in DC Comics. He's even had different iterations. He's been animated, he's been live action, and now we do get a figure from McFarlane representing the Black Lightning character. Now he does look pretty tremendous in the packaging, but let's go ahead and take a closer look at him. But first, he does come with your standard black DC Multiverse stand. Now, of course, these are not really needed, but sometimes they do come in useful. He also comes with his data file card. On the front, you do have an image from the source material. Now, interestingly enough, this character actually has the clean-shaven head, and this one that they gave us has hair. Now, I have seen, different versions of him with hair, without hair. So I don't know if this means we might get another version of him, but it is still pretty cool to open up the character selection a little bit more and get some different characters in here. So we'll hold on to that. Now he does come with some accessories. Now actually in the packaging he comes with the effect hands pretty much already placed on him, but I thought I would switch them out and just go having him with his regular hands and using these as sort of accessories. Now these are pretty cool. They're sort of like the way they did the Raven effects, where these go onto the peg of the hand. Now you can still see the pegs through the plastic because it is, transparent, but for some reason I feel like these work a little bit better than the Raven ones did. You could see the sculpted out fingers and the hands. One is a fist actually, and it actually just gives off a pretty cool effect. So actually I'm really happy with some innovative effects from McFarlane. Pretty interesting. But now let's go ahead and take a more detailed look at him. Oh man, this is a pretty nice looking figure. I mean, from first impressions, pretty hefty figure. Feels really solid. Love the blue that they use, which is like a powder baby blue color, and that really contrasts with like the deep sort of navy blue that is on the rest of the costume. Kind of feels like in the comics you would see a lot of black, color in the costume, but this is definitely more of a dark blue. And I really like the proportions of this figure. Now, of course, we know that this body is actually from the Speeding Bullets Batman, but they did make some modifications to make him his own, figure. So all in all, first impressions, pretty awesome looking figure. I was actually really happy to see that they had used the Speeding Bullets to do this figure, because I really love that figure. Just the way it's executed came out really well. So I wanted to see what another character would look on that same body buck. Pretty nice. Let's take a look at the head sculpt. Now I did say before that this character can be bald or he can have hair. Kind of a lightish brown color for the skin. And a pretty good head sculpt. Not, super great or anything, but it's passable. Now I have seen other reviews where you could really see that line that goes kind of like across the top of his head, where it looks like they molded it, from two different pieces, or just the mold had a line in it. But actually in mine, you could kind of see it, but it's not so obvious. Like You really have to look at it. It doesn't stick out so much as I thought it would. So I'm really happy about that. Just doesn't have that obvious line crossing through the hairline. So pretty sweet. Let's take a look at the head articulation. Can look down really well. Pretty nice. Also look up as well, making him able to do some, emote some cool emotion. You do got right to left. Then of course you can tilt his head for some character. Pretty nice. Let's take a look at, love the way the paint, the paint is just really clean. Got some nice straight lines. They got a cool like trim of gold that like really enhances the like lightning effect on the suit. Really nice paint job. Let's take a look at the waist articulation. You do have side to side. You got that full tilt-a-whirl at the waist, and it actually feels really smooth. You got a lower waist swivel, upper chest swivel. You can twist them, get them in some action poses. Let's take a look at the crunch. Wow, surprisingly he has a very generous forward crunch. Awesome. And of course, per usual, he could lean back very well. Let's take a look at the shoulder articulation. You do got that socket and bushing shoulder joint from McFarlane, where really what it does is cover that gap, but it still gives you a lot of nice range of movement. Actually works really smoothly. And like I said, really nice, matching that blue color. Just fits perfectly. You got up and down at the shoulder, front to back, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. Oh, pretty clean, not too bad. Starting at the shoulder and moving down, you could see where he has like that ribbed texture that was on the Speeding Bullets figure, but it actually works well in my mind because being like an electrical character, you could see where you could say that this is like insulated, a insulated part of his suit to keep that, electrical charge, contained. So it's pretty interesting. Now going down, he does have the sculpted out part of his gloves, and they move down into a cool sculpted wrist joint and into a nice sculpted out hand. Now on the other side, of course, you have the same thing, but he does have a fist on this side. Now, as I said, you can pop off his hand and add the electrical effect. Really nice. So now you have them, like I said, this one works really well, a lot better than the Raven one that they did before, and just feels really nice and adds a lot of cool, life to the character. So it's pretty nice. Let's put the hand back. Now, you can get him in a T-pose. Pretty simply, move the arms above the head. Nice range of motion. Now going down, this is like one of the bad parts about this figure, which this is a really nice figure, would be close to like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, but they went, the cheap route, and they gave them the same trunks as the Speeding Bullets, so you could still see the belt underneath. Now, I think if they would have if they would have made the bolts right a little bit higher, they would have actually covered that, design of the belt from the Speeding Bullets. But they put it so low that you could still see that, poking out from underneath. Now, this isn't really a big deal because you can imagine that he actually has a belt and these like lightning accents just go around on top. But we know what what McFarlane did and kind of cheaped out a little bit there. Not cool. But it is what it is. Let's take a look at the thigh swivel. Actually has some cool movement there. Can stick his leg out and move the boot from side to side without having a thigh cut. He can kick up respectively. And of course he could kick back as well. Now do not be afraid, because since the trunks are made of rubber, they do move out of the way. And when you put them back, they actually go back to their original shape. Cock out his knee, has that sweet McFarlane hip swivel. Double jointed knees, straighten them out, up and down at the ankle. You got right to left, and then a really nice rocker. Pretty awesome. Now before we go, let's take a look at the complete lower body. All you really do have is that same ribbing that they have on the arms that match down to the legs. Now the boots look really nice, and there is definitely some different sculpt work put into the bottom of the boots. Now he does use the same ankle ball joint, because you could see like underneath the lines that were from Speeding Bullets, but the actual bottom shoe part is completely different. Completely new sculpt than to the Speeding Bullets boots. Take a look at them from the bottom. Kind of a semi-tread with some identifying marks. Moving up the back, not really any sculpt work to speak of. And then up into the trunks, the back of the belt, and then the back. Now, really nicely shaped figure. Love the wideness of the back and the way the shoulders, really stick out. So all in all, really awesome figure. Very unique and cool to add to the collection. Have some, different flavors up there on the shelf for some shelf candy. So pretty happy with him. I mean, nothing spectacular, but definitely a cool looking figure, nice and sleek, and something, to mix it up a little bit in the collection. Now, the big, negative was that they put that, yellow belt around the top of that previous sculpted out belt, which is pretty lazy, and I'm not too happy about that. I may end up trying to find some way to fix that later on. It all depends. But for right now, I'm really happy with him. Now, I do want to bring out the DC Universe Classics version of this character. And as you can see, he basically has the same costume, just a little bit different colors. Has the same domino mask. But this one is a clean shaven version. Always cool to get some throwbacks to the old classic figures. And also, let's go ahead and bring in Speeding Bullets. This is where this figure is actually, originated from, the body style. One of my favorite figures, actually. So all in all, like I said, nothing super special, but it is a solid release. And actually, these did cost me $19.97 each. So that's McFarlane giving you a cool figure, cool design, some alternate energy hands, and it's for a $20 price point. So pretty awesome. The one thing you can do if you would like to is that the hands from the Speeding Bullet actually fit onto the Black Lightning. So if you have an extra fist from the Speeding Bullets, which actually I do have a couple of sets laying around, you can actually pop that fist on his left hand, and all you need to do is paint it with a navy blue and maybe seal it, so it'll have a little bit of gloss to it, and it would match perfectly. I probably will end up doing that, but as you can see, it just pops right in and off. They're using that same little peg that McFarlane has been using recently for all of the figures. So the hands are getting a little bit more interchangeable and swappable. So could have a lot of fun with him as well. Really cool figure. He's going to look awesome posed up there on the shelf. After I spend a little bit of time with him, we may even see that he becomes one of my favorite figures. But he definitely will have a cool presence on my shelf. So you guys keep hunting out there, keep collecting, keep customizing, and I will see you on the next one.
Here's the call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.